What if the loose, dirty quarters hiding in your drawer right now could be worth a shocking fortune? The 1966, 1967, and 1968 quarter dollars, often ignored, scratched, and forgotten, are secretly among the most mysterious coins in modern history. Struck during a time of silver shortages and minting changes, a few rare error versions slipped into circulation, and today, collectors are hunting them like buried treasure. Some of these ordinary-looking coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. What if I told you that a single dirty 1968 quarter, yes, the kind most people ignore or spend without thinking, could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even life-changing money? It sounds unbelievable, but collectors are already searching for these coins, and some have uncovered hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. Let's go back to 1968, a turning point in U.S. coin history. Just a few years earlier, silver had been completely removed from circulating quarters. People were hoarding older coins, and the mint was under pressure to keep up with demand. But in the middle of all that chaos, something unusual started happening. Mistakes. Rare, valuable, and sometimes astonishing mistakes. And here's where the mystery begins. 1968 was the first year after the mint brought back mint marks, but only on certain coins, and only in specific places. That means every genuine 1968 quarter should have a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. So if you ever find a 1968 quarter with no mint mark at all, stop. That's not normal. That could be a rare error coin, and potentially worth big money. Now imagine this. A collector once discovered a 1968 quarter missing its mint mark entirely. At first glance, it looked like any other worn coin. But after authentication, it turned out to be a rare transitional error. That coin didn't sell for a few dollars, it sold for hundreds. That's the kind of hidden treasure we're talking about. Now let's break down exactly how you can spot one of these valuable coins. First, check the date. It must say 1968. Next, look just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. That's where the mint mark should be. If it's missing, faded, or looks unusual, you might have something special. But don't stop there, because the real shock is just getting started. Let's talk about the edge. A normal 1968 quarter is made of copper and nickel, which means you should see a brownish copper stripe along the rim. But if your coin has a solid silver-colored edge with no copper line at all, that could mean it was struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet. Yes, a coin from 1968, accidentally made with silver. And if that's what you have, you're no longer holding pocket change. You're holding something that could be worth thousands. Now here's another detail that could change everything. Wait, a standard 1968 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. But a silver version weighs around 6.25 grams. That tiny difference might not seem like much, but in the world of coin collecting, it can mean life-changing value. But wait, there's more. 1968 quarters are also known for a variety of striking errors that collectors absolutely love. Take double dies, for example. If you look closely at the words Liberty or In God We Trust, and you see a slight doubling or shadow effect, you could be holding a double die error. These coins can easily sell for $100 to over $1,000 depending on condition. And here's where things get even more exciting. Off-center strikes. These coins weren't properly aligned when they were struck, leaving part of the design missing. Some look completely off, almost like a mistake you'd throw away. But collectors? They pay serious money for these. A dramatic off-center 1968 quarter with a visible date can sell for hundreds, sometimes more. Now let me tell you something most people never even think to check. Proof coins. In 1968, the San Francisco Mint produced proof quarters, coins made with extra detail and a mirror-like finish. These weren't meant for circulation, but some still ended up in everyday use. If you find a 1968 quarter with a shiny, reflective surface and sharp details, you might have a proof coin. And here's the shocking part. High-grade proof coins, especially those with deep cameo contrast, have sold for hundreds to over $1,500 at auction. Yes, one coin, massive value. Now picture this moment. You're going through a pile of old coins. Most are scratched, dull, and forgettable. But then you notice one. It looks different. The shine, the edge, the details, something feels off. That's the moment collectors live for. Because hidden treasure doesn't look obvious. It hides in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows exactly what to look for. And here's another twist. There are also struck through errors, where grease or debris blocked part of the design during minting. These coins can have missing letters or strange textures. And while most people think they're damaged, collectors see them as unique. Some of these have sold for $50, $100, even several $100s. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where things can go from exciting to unbelievable. A heavily worn 1968 quarter might only be worth face value. But in mint state, no wear, sharp details, it can jump to $20, $50, even $100. Add a rare error or proof quality on top of that, and now you're talking serious big money. This is how ordinary coins turn into life-changing value. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Valuable coins are being spent every single day. People don't check. They don't look closely. They miss the signs. But not you. Now you know exactly what to watch for. Check the date, 1968. Look for the mint mark, D or S, or maybe missing. Examine the edge. Look for that copper stripe or a solid silver line. Weigh the coin if possible. Inspect every letter and number for doubling or strange details. Look for anything unusual, because unusual often means valuable. Because that one coin, that one small detail, could be the difference between spare change and hidden treasure. So before you move on, go check your coins. Right now? Because the next 1968 quarter you find might not just be worth 25 cents. It might be worth hundreds, thousands, or even life-changing money. And trust me, the next coin we're about to reveal might be even more shocking. What if I told you that a dirty, worn-out 1967 quarter, one you might ignore or spend without thinking, could secretly be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more? Sounds unbelievable, but collectors are quietly hunting for these coins right now, and some have already uncovered hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. Let's go back to 1967, a year filled with confusion, pressure, and urgency inside the U.S. Mint. Silver coins had just been removed from circulation, and people were hoarding anything they believed had value. To stop the madness, the Mint made a shocking move. They removed all mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967. That means every genuine 1967 quarter should have no mint mark at all. But here's where things start to get interesting. During this chaotic period, mistakes slipped through. The Mint was producing coins at massive speed, and quality control wasn't perfect. And when errors happen in a moment like that, they can create life-changing value. Now imagine this. A collector once picked up a grimy 1967 quarter at a flea market. It looked completely ordinary. But after a closer look, something was off. That coin turned out to have a rare striking error, and it later sold for hundreds of dollars. That's the power of hidden treasure. So how do you know if your 1967 quarter is worth big money? First, look at the edge. A normal 1967 quarter is made of copper and nickel, so you'll see a distinct orange-brown copper stripe along the rim. But if your coin shows a solid silver-colored edge with no copper line, stop everything. That could mean it was struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from before 1965. And if that's the case, you're not holding 25 cents. You could be holding a coin worth thousands. Now here's another shocker. Weight matters. A standard 1967 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but a silver version weighs closer to 6.25 grams. That tiny difference, less than a gram, could mean the difference between pocket change and serious big money. But don't relax yet, because even if your coin isn't silver, the real excitement is just beginning. 1967 quarters are known for a range of fascinating mint errors. Let's talk about double dies. If you look closely at the word Liberty or the date, 1967, and notice a slight doubling or shadow effect, you might have a double die obverse. These coins can sell anywhere from $100 to over $1,000 depending on clarity and condition. And here's where it gets even crazier. Off-center strikes. These coins were struck incorrectly, leaving part of the design missing. Some look almost broken, but collectors love them. If the date is still visible, these can fetch hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more depending on how dramatic the error is. But wait, there's something most people never check. The surface. Some 1967 quarters have what's called a struck through grease error. This happens when grease or debris blocks part of the design during minting. The result? Missing letters, faded details, or unusual textures. These coins can sell for $50, $100, even several $100s because every single one is unique. Now let me tell you something that might completely change how you look at your coins. In 1967, special mint sets were produced instead of regular proof coins. These coins were made with extra care, giving them a sharper, more polished look. If you come across a 1967 quarter with unusually crisp details and a slightly mirror-like surface, it might be from one of these sets. And guess what? High-grade examples from these sets, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, have sold for hundreds, even over $1,000 at auction. Yes, even without errors, condition alone can create life-changing value. Now picture this. You're going through a jar of old coins. Most are scratched, worn, and forgotten. But one stands out. The details are sharper, The rim looks different. The weight feels just slightly off. That's the moment everything changes. Because hidden treasure doesn't announce itself. It hides in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. And here's another shocking twist. Even damaged-looking coins can be valuable. Collectors don't always want perfection, they want rarity. A strange-looking error coin that most people would ignore could actually be the one worth big money. So here's what you need to do right now. Check the date, 1967. Look for a mint mark. There should be none. If you see one, that's unusual and worth investigating. Examine the edge. Look for that copper stripe or lack of it. Weigh the coin if you can. Inspect the lettering and numbers for doubling. Look for off-center designs, missing details, or anything that just feels wrong. Because wrong, in the world of coin collecting often means incredibly right. And here's the truth. Every day, rare coins are being spent, lost, or overlooked. People miss them because they don't know what they're holding. But now you do. Now you know that a simple, old, dirty 1967 quarter could be more than just spare change. It could be hidden treasure. It could be big money. It could be that one coin that turns an ordinary day into something unforgettable. So before you click away, go check your coins. Right now. Because the next 1967 quarter you find might not just be worth 25 cents. It might be worth everything. And trust me, what we're uncovering next will shock you even more. What if I told you that a dirty, worn-out 1966 quarter sitting in your pocket right now could be worth not 25 cents, not even a few dollars, but potentially hundreds, even thousands of dollars? Sounds impossible, right? But stay with me, because this ordinary-looking coin hides a shocking secret that most collectors completely overlook. Let's go back to 1966, a time when the United States was facing a major coin shortage. Silver coins were disappearing from circulation because people realized their metal value was rising fast. In response, the U.S. Mint made a drastic decision. They removed silver from quarters entirely. That means every 1966 quarter should be made of copper and nickel and nothing else. But here's where things get mysterious. During that chaotic transition, something went wrong inside the mint. A few leftover silver planchets, blanks meant for older 90% silver coins, may have accidentally been used to strike 1966 quarters. And if you find one of those, you're not holding pocket change, you're holding hidden treasure. Now imagine this. A collector once discovered a transitional error quarter from this era, and it sold for thousands of dollars at auction. That's the kind of life-changing value we're talking about. So how do you know if your old and dirty 1966 quarter is one of these rare gems? First, check the color. A normal 1966 quarter has a dull gray appearance with a slight copper tint on the edge. But if you look at the edge and see no copper line, just a solid silver color all the way through, you might be onto something big. And here's another trick most people miss. Weight. A standard clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. But a silver one? Around 6.25 grams. That small difference could mean big money. Now let me shock you even more. Even if your coin isn't silver, it could still be extremely valuable because of mint errors. And 1966 quarters are known for some fascinating and rare mistakes. Take the double die obverse error. This is where the design was struck twice, slightly off alignment, creating a visible doubling effect on the lettering or numbers. If you see doubling in Liberty or the date, 1966, collectors can pay anywhere from $100 to over $1,000 depending on the condition. But wait, it gets better. There are also off-center strikes, coins that were misaligned when struck, leaving part of the design missing. These can look strange, even damaged, but they are highly collectible. Some of these have sold for several $100s, especially if the date is still visible. And here's a detail that could completely change everything. In 1966, the mint removed mint marks from coins to discourage hoarding. That means all genuine 1966 quarters should have no mint mark. So if you ever come across a 1966 quarter with a mint mark, that's not normal. That's a red flag, and potentially a very rare and valuable error. Now picture this scenario. A man going through his loose change finds an old, dirty quarter. He almost throws it aside, but something feels off. He notices the edge, no copper stripe. He weighs it, slightly heavier than usual. That coin ends up being a rare silver transitional error, later selling for thousands. That's why you should never ignore these coins. Let's talk about condition, because this is where the value can skyrocket. Even a regular 1966 quarter in poor condition might only be worth face value. But if it's in mint state, no scratches, strong details, it can sell for $20, $50, even $100 or more. And if it has a rare error on top of that, now you're entering serious big money territory. Here's another shocking twist. Some collectors specifically look for struck-through errors, where debris or grease interfered during minting, leaving unusual textures or missing details. These odd-looking coins can fetch surprising prices because each one is completely unique. And let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked the coins in your pocket? Your drawer? That jar sitting in your house right now? Because hidden treasure doesn't always shine. Sometimes it looks old, dirty, forgotten. That's exactly what makes the 1966 quarter so exciting. It blends in. It hides. And that's why so many valuable pieces slip through unnoticed. Collectors around the world are constantly searching for these rare varieties. Auctions have proven time and time again that even modern coins, yes, coins you can still find today, can carry life-changing value. And here's the reality. Most people will never check. They'll spend these coins without a second thought. But not you. Now you know what to look for. Check the edge for silver. Weigh the coin carefully. Look for doubling in the text. Watch for off-center designs. And always question anything unusual, because that one small detail, that tiny difference, could turn an ordinary coin into big money. So before you leave this video, do one thing. Go grab your coins. Right now, check every 1966 quarter you can find. Because the next one you pick up might not just be a coin. It might be hidden treasure waiting to change your life. And trust me, you don't want to miss what we're about to reveal in the next video.